there was once a farmer who had 3 sons. One day, when the boys were grown, he said to them, "My sons, it is time for you to get married." "I have thought of that," the father said. "Each of you cut down a tree, then go in the way the tree falls. If you go far enough, the tree of the oldest son fell to the north." "That is fine," he said. He knew that to the north there was a farm where a pretty girl lived. The tree of the second son fell to the south. "That is fine," he said. He thought of a girl he often danced with who lived on a farm in the south. The tree of the youngest son fell to the forest. The name of the youngest son was Vico. Vico must marry a wolf girl or a fox girl. They said this because animals lived in the forest. They thought it was a good joke. But Vico said he would go where his tree pointed. The older brothers went happily to the 2 farmers whose daughters they liked. Vico also started off with courage. But after he went some way in the forest, he began to feel afraid. "How can I find a bride?" he thought, "in a place where there are no people at all?" Then he came to a small hut. He opened the door and went in. It was empty. Only a little mouse was on the table combing her whiskers. But a mouse did not count. "There is nobody here," Vico said aloud. The little mouse stopped and looked at him. She said, "Why, Vico, I am here." "But you do not count. You are only a mouse." "Of course I count," said the mouse. "Tell me, what did you hope to find?" "I hoped to find a sweetheart." The mouse asked more, and Vico told her the story of his brothers and the trees. "My 2 brothers will find sweethearts," Vico said, "but I cannot in the forest." "Why not take me for your sweetheart?" Vico laughed. "But you are only a mouse." "Who ever heard of a man with a mouse sweetheart?" The mouse shook her head. "Believe me, Vico, you could do worse than me. I may be a mouse, but I can love you and be true to you." She was a sweet little mouse. She looked up at Vico with her paws under her chin and her eyes bright. Vico liked her more and more. Then she sang him a pretty song. The song made him happy. He forgot his sadness about not finding a human sweetheart. As he left to go home, he said, "Very well, little mouse. I will take you for my sweetheart." The mouse made happy squeaks. She told him she would be true to him and wait for him no matter how long he was away. The older brothers, when they got home, talked loudly about their sweethearts. "Mine," said the oldest, "has the reddest cheeks you ever saw." "And mine," said the second, "has long yellow hair." Vico said nothing. "What is wrong, Vico?" the brothers asked, laughing. "Foxes and wolves." "You need not laugh," Vico said. "I have found a sweetheart. She is gentle and dainty. She wears velvet." "Velvet?" said the oldest brother with a frown. "Like a princess," sneered the second brother. "Yes," Vico said again, "velvet like a princess. And when she sits up and sings to me, I am happy." The older brothers were not pleased that Vico's sweetheart sounded so fine. "Well," said the old farmer, after some days, "I want to know what your sweethearts can do." "I know it," the oldest brother said with pride. "So can mine," said the second brother. Vico was quiet. "What about the princess?" They laughed. "Can the princess bake bread?" "I don't know," Vico said honestly. "I will have to ask her." He had no reason to think that the little mouse could bake bread. By the time he reached the hut in the forest, he was sad and without hope. When Vico opened the door, he saw the little mouse on the table combing her whiskers. When she saw Vico, she danced with joy. "I am glad to see you," she squeaked. Vico told her, "My father wants each of our sweethearts to bake him a loaf of bread. If I come home without bread, I can bake bread." Vico was very surprised. "I never heard of a mouse that can bake bread. Well, I can, said the little mouse. Then she rang a small silver bell, tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. At once came the sound of many little feet, scratch, scratch, scratch. Hundreds of mice ran into the hut, each one with a grain of fine wheat. Then it was easy for the Princess Mouse to bake a beautiful loaf of white bread. The next day the three brothers gave their father loaves baked by their sweethearts. The oldest brought rye bread. Very good, said the farmer. For working people like us, rye bread is good. The second son brought barley bread. Barley bread is good too, said the farmer. Then Vaiko gave his father the loaf of fine white bread. The farmer cried out, What? White bread. Vaiko must have a sweetheart with riches. Of course, the older brothers sneered. Didn't he say she was a princess? Tell us, Vaiko, when a princess wants white flour, how does she get it? Vaiko said simply, She rings a silver bell. Then her servants come, and she tells them to bring the finest wheat. The older brothers grew green with envy until their father stopped them. There, he said. Don't be jealous of the boy. Each girl has baked the bread she knows. Each, in her own way, will make a good wife. But before you bring them home, I want one more test. For they knew their sweethearts could weave well. We'll see how the princess does this time, they said, sure that Vaiko's sweetheart would fail. Vaiko also feared that the little mouse could not weave. Who ever heard of a mouse that could weave? He thought as he pushed open the hut door. She reached out her paws to welcome him. Then she danced about on the table in her excitement. Are you really glad to see me, little mouse? Vaiko asked. Of course I am, the mouse said. Am I not your sweetheart? I have been waiting and waiting for you. Tell me, does your father want something more this time? Yes, said Vaiko. But I fear you cannot give it, little mouse. Perhaps I can. Tell me what it is. It is weaving. I need a piece of your weaving. But I do not believe you can weave. I never heard of a mouse that could weave. Tut, tut, said the mouse. Of course I can weave. Wouldn't it be strange if Vaiko's sweetheart could not weave? She rang her little silver bell. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. At once came the sound of scratch, scratch, scratch as hundreds of mice ran in and sat waiting for orders. Go now, she told them, each with a fiber of flax. When they spun and combed it, the little mouse wove a fine piece of linen. It was so thin that she folded it and put it inside a nutshell. Here, Vaiko, she said, in this little shell is my weaving. I hope your father will like it. When Vaiko came home, he felt shy. He was sure his sweetheart's weaving would shame him before his brothers. So he kept the nutshell hidden in his pocket. The oldest brother's sweetheart sent a square of rough cotton. Not very fine, the farmer said, but good enough. The second brother's sweetheart sent cotton mixed with linen. Then he looked at Vaiko. And you, Vaiko, did your sweetheart not give you weaving? Vaiko handed him the nutshell. His brothers laughed loudly. Ha, ha, ha. Farmer opened the nut. Out came a wide piece of the finest linen. My boy, Vaiko, he cried. She told her servants to bring her fibers of fine flax. They spun it and carded it. Then my sweetheart wove this linen. Wonderful, cried the farmer. I have never seen weaving so fine. The other girls are good for farmers' wives, but Vaiko's sweetheart might be a princess. Well, it is time you all bring home your sweethearts. I want to see them. Bring them tomorrow. She is a good little mouse, and I love her, Vaiko thought. But my brothers will laugh when they see she is only a mouse. Well, I do not care if they laugh. She has been kind to me. I will not be ashamed. So when he reached the hut, he told the mouse that his father wanted to see her. The little mouse was very excited. I must go in fine style, she said. She rang her silver bell and called for her coach and five. The coach was a nutshell, and 5 black mice pulled it. The little mouse sat inside with a mouse coachman in front and a mouse footman behind. Oh, how my brothers will laugh, thought Vico. But Vakel did not laugh. He walked beside the coach and told the little mouse not to be afraid. He said he would take care of her. He told her his father was gentle and kind and would be good to her. When they left the forest, they came to a river with a small bridge. As Vakel and the nutshell coach reached the middle, a man came from the other side. "Mercy me!" the man cried when he saw the strange little coach rolling beside Vico. "What is that?" He bent down to look. Then he laughed loudly and pushed the coach with his foot. The little mouse, her servants, and the 5 black horses all fell into the water. "What have you done? What have you done?" cried Vico. "You have drowned my poor sweetheart." The man thought Vico was mad and hurried away. Vico, with tears in his eyes, looked into the water. "You poor little mouse," he said. "I am so sorry you are drowned. You were a true sweetheart. Now I know how much I loved you." As he spoke, he saw a golden coach pulled by 5 shining horses rise from the far bank of the river. A coachman in gold lace held the reins. A footman in a pointed cap sat behind. Inside sat the most beautiful girl in the world. Her skin was red as a berry and white as snow. Her long golden hair shone with jewels. She wore velvet bright as pearls. She called Vico, and when he came near, she said, "Won't you sit beside me?" "Me? Me?" Vico stammered, too shocked to think. The beautiful girl smiled. "You were not ashamed of me when I was a mouse," she said. "Now that I am a princess again, you will not leave me, will you?" "A mouse?" gasped Vico. "Were you the little mouse?" The princess nodded. "Yes, I was the little mouse. I was the little mouse. I was under an evil spell. It could only be broken if you took me as your sweetheart and if a man drowned me. Now the spell is broken forever. So come, we will go to your father. After he blesses us, we will marry and go home to my kingdom." And that is what they did. They drove at once to the farmer's house. When Vico's father, his brothers, and their sweethearts saw the princess's coach at the gate, they all bowed low, wondering what great people had come. "Father!" Vico cried. "Don't you know me?" The farmer stopped bowing and looked. "Bless my soul," he cried. "It is our Vico." "Yes, father, it is I, Vico." "Mercy me, where did my boy find a princess?" asked the farmer. "Out in the forest where my tree pointed," Vico answered. "Well, well, well," said the farmer. "Where your tree pointed," whispered just our bad luck. "If only our trees had pointed to the forest, we too might have found princesses instead of simple country girls." Vico found the princess not because his tree pointed to the forest, but because he was kind and good even to a little mouse. After the farmer gave them his blessing, they rode to the princess's kingdom and were married. They were happy, as people should be, because they were good and true to each other, and they loved each other very much.